Hello,
Hey,
hi.
what's up? This is Nan.
Hi, I'm Nan,
From...
first president of Japan.
And what's going on tonight?
We have an EP release. So right now, I am trying to finish preparing the merch for tonight. I hand make all of our merch.
Yeah, shake your eggs. It's pretty. It's a bad gesture.
I am making egg shakers as like the merch that comes with our songs. Like every single one of our merch, like I make them one at a time. Very inefficient. So we have like shirts of my face. We have like a lighter that came with our single mayonnaise.
Do you put mayonnaise on your French fries? Yes. Wow.
Keychain that came with our single Haunt You. And they all come with like little zines that come with a download code of the song, super tiny font. Fun facts related to the song. Part of it is that so few people like own physical copies of music now. What is something that can represent?
So how long has First President of Japan been going?
First President of Japan has been going for almost 2 years now. Our first practice, like first time we all played together was in November of 2022. Our first show was in March of 2023. I don't come from music, but I played piano and violin as a child, but it was definitely one of those situations where I ended up kind of hating it because it was a very like perfectionist, competitive space.
Yeah.
And I wasn't having any fun, so I kind of strayed away from music. I went to school for theater, so I've kept performing, like art for a long time, was doing stand-up, actually. And then my COVID epiphany was that I love doing stand-up and I love writing jokes and I love it as a form, but I hate the scene. There's a lot of toxicity, and I think it's changed a lot maybe post-COVID, but pre-COVID, I just had a lot of creepy or violating experiences that I had internalized as like, oh, just putting up with this bullshit is part of me paying the dues so I can do what I want. But I think with like all of it shutting down during COVID, me realizing, oh, I don't have to, like I feel so much better when I'm not in that space, but I need something to do because I die if I'm not on stage. I was one day like, you know what? I want a band.
Yeah.
I want a band. I don't know how to start a band, but that's what I want.
Yeah.
I went out to like more music spaces. So sometimes I do lighting design as part of my day job, and I did lighting design for theater. I started like trying to find gigs doing lighting design at like concert venues, and talking with more like music people, going to bars where more music people hang out.
Yeah.
And then any person who would talk to me, I'd be like, hey, do you want to be my band? I want to start a band. Do you want to be in it? And most people were like, no. Or they'd be like, what do you play? And I'd be like, nothing. Yeah. Oh no, you're going to play. Every single process has been like new thing, new learning, new learning. Luckily for silly little people.
Yeah. Well, they're all pretty talented people.
Exactly. That was a crazy thing.
Yeah.
When I say like silly, it's that it was a self-selecting crowd of people who were into the idea of trying something that is quite unknown.
Yeah.
And being down with like, oh, this person is saying something that like piques my interest and I'm gonna take a leap. Yeah, I just say this is like pure luck because like I am not auditioning anybody. If you said, yes, I'll show up at Tuesday at 8, you were in.
Yeah.
And it turned out that everybody's so good.
Yeah. Yeah. So who are the other members of the First President of Japan?
So, okay, there's Yoko, who is known as Yoko Nips. She is the synth player and singer of Hard Nips. She was the first person that I met. She does takoyaki pop-ups throughout the city. And takoyaki is kind of like the soul food of this region in Japan that we're both from. So I was at a show at Rubalad, and I was like, why do I smell takoyaki? And I like followed the scent, and she was making it. And I was like, I'm from Osaka. And she was like, I'm from Osaka. And I was like, do you want to be in my band? And she was like, okay, take my number.
Yeah.
So that's Yoko. And then we have Zev, who is our drummer. And I met Zev because he was playing pool at Johnson's. And I was on a Tinder date that I was kind of bored by. And then we made like eye contact. And then he came over and he was like, oh, I play drums. And I was like, do you want to be my band? Duncan is our keyboardist. I met him at a dinner party. He just sat next to me and I asked him what his hobbies were. And he was like, I play piano in my free time. And I said, hey, my band's practicing for the first time next Tuesday. You free? So Aki is the guitarist who is on this EP. He is currently stuck in Japan due to visa stuff. He's just waiting on his green card. I got really lucky with Aki because he is so talented. He was in bands in college and then kind of had a bad experience and swore off bands. But 2022 just happened to be the year that he decided that he was going to start saying yes to anything. So I was like, you want to join my band? He was just like, okay, sure. I said I was going to say yes to everything this year, so I guess this is another thing I'll say yes to. Dave Strawn, who is actually a bassist. I say he's the best bassist in New York, but I'm sure other bassists will fight me. He was playing in this band called Fake Pollux at a show we played with them last summer. I saw Fake Pollux play, and I was like, they're really good. And Dave and I like chatted, and we got along. So then when Aki was leaving for Japan, and I was desperately looking for a replacement guitarist who could play the music, I messaged him, and I was like, hey, like, would you be interested in filling in for Aki while he's in Japan? And Dave was like, yeah, sure. Those are the members of First President of Japan. Other thing that is like more personal to me outside of just like the band experience. Like I have always been a theater kid, a performer kid. I think the first show I ever like did, and I was already like, oh, I want this to be the rest of my life. So throughout my childhood, I really did anything. I said as earlier, I was like, I played piano and violin. I did like all these kinds of dances. I did theater summer camps. I did all the high school plays, blah, 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 blah. But I think that I was never a star person. Like in all of the plays that I did in high school, I was just like ensemble or chorus or whatever. And I just like live performance so much that I was like, I don't even care. Like this feels fun and important to me. So I'm gonna keep doing it. And then in college, when I studied theater, I always joke, like, I think I was the last person in my entire high school that anybody thought would, like, major in theater. Then it was, like, even more of a wake-up call of, like, oh, there isn't a lot of space for people like me in, like, more traditional theatrical spaces. Like, I wanted to perform. So if I wanted to perform, I had to keep making myself spaces to perform. Again, like you were saying earlier, of like the thank you so much of like at least this space of First President of Japan that I have created in the hopes that I can give myself permission to keep being a performer. Like, yeah, that is so meaningful to me. And all of my like crazy context of like, actually you don't understand how much you mean to me, can live in the handmaidenness of our merch.
For the First President of Japan. And